Have you ever just looked at the price of gold and silver and wondered what is going on? I mean, one minute they're shooting for the moon, and the next they're taking a nosedive. Well, today we're going to play detective. We're going to crack the case on these wild price swings and figure out what really makes them tick.
But first, a super quick heads up. This is all for fun and information. It is definitely not financial advice. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the good stuff.
All right, so the big question, the one that got this whole thing started, is what on earth just happened? All of a sudden, we saw this massive drop in gold and silver prices, and it left a whole lot of people just scratching their heads.
I mean, just look at gold. Prices recently fell by a staggering 18% from their latest peak. Now that's a drop that's pretty hard to just ignore, right?
And if you think that's dramatic, get this. Silver futures, the contracts to buy silver down the road, they crashed by nearly 45% in just 5 days. That kind of move that fast, it caught pretty much everyone off guard.
Okay, so let's start digging. To really get what's happening, we've got to first look at the international players, the big global forces that are pulling the strings from thousands of miles away.
First up on our list of suspects is the US dollar. Now, gold is traded internationally in dollars, so it's pretty simple. When the rupee is weaker against the dollar, it costs us more to buy gold. But when our rupee gets stronger, hey, the price comes down for us. It's like a seesaw.
So what pulled the trigger this time? It all started with the U.S. Federal Reserve. They dropped some hints that they might not cut their interest rates as fast as everyone was hoping. That little signal was enough to make the U.S. dollar stronger, and boom, it set off this chain reaction that pushed gold and silver prices down all over the world.
But, it's never just one thing, is it? There are always other global clues. Things like geopolitical tensions cooling off, say, positive talks between the US and Iran, that can lower the demand for what people see as safe assets. Even something like a dip in how much gold is being bought in a huge market like China can create ripples everywhere.
Okay, so now let's bring the investigation back home. Because while all those global forces are setting the stage, India has its own unique story, its own factors that add a whole other layer to the drama.
Here in India, the price you pay is also hugely affected by things like import duties and GST. And then, of course, there's the massive cultural demand that spikes during wedding seasons and big festivals. You can't forget that. Plus, you've got your local costs, making charges, transport, that all get added to the final tag.
And this chart just shows you the sheer power of that seasonal demand. I mean, look at it. During the festival season, the demand can more than double compared to a regular month. And when demand goes up that much, you bet the prices are going to follow.
So now let's investigate the motive. Why do people care so much about gold anyway? What is it that makes them rush out to buy it, especially when things in the world feel a little shaky? Well, the answer is all in its reputation as a safe haven.
Just picture this for a second. The stock market is all over the place, totally unpredictable, and it looks like it's heading south.
Well, in that exact moment, what do a lot of investors do? They turn to gold. That's a classic move. They start pulling their money out of things they see as risky and park it in something they believe is going to hold its value, something stable.
And that's the whole idea behind a safe haven. It's an asset that people trust when the economy gets turbulent. It doesn't matter if it's crazy high inflation or political chaos, gold has, for centuries, been seen as a kind of financial shield, a way to protect your wealth.
But wait, here comes a twist in our case. Let's talk about silver. Now, it often moves in the same general direction as gold, but its ride can be way, way wilder. So why is that?
Well, it turns out silver is kind of living a double life. See, gold's price is driven almost entirely by that safe haven demand we just talked about. But silver is also a superstar in the industrial world.
And this is absolutely key. Silver is a critical ingredient in making, well, almost everything. We're talking about the electronics in your phone, solar panels, parts in your car. And that means its price isn't just tied to how investors are feeling, it's also directly linked to the health of the global economy. When factories are humming, demand for silver goes up.
Okay, so we've looked at the evidence from all over the world. We've brought it back home. What's the final verdict? What should you actually take away from all this?
The truth is, there's no single bad guy in this story. The price you see for gold and silver is really the result of this giant, complex tug-of-war. On one side, you have these powerful global forces like the US dollar and interest rates. And on the other, you have our own deeply ingrained domestic factors, like taxes and, of course, our cultural demand.
And all of this brings us to the main piece of advice you'll hear from market experts. Because of all this volatility, because of all these moving parts,
They usually suggest that if you're thinking about precious metals, you should probably be in it for the long haul, not trying to guess the short-term ups and downs.
Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. In a world that's changing faster than ever, with new tech and new financial systems popping up, will gold always keep its ancient crown as the ultimate safe investment? Well, that's something for all of us to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.